Oh, wait, I'm all tangled up. I have too many cords.
It's not letting me. Hold on.
What is it not letting you doing?
Okay, can you hear me now?
I've been hearing you.
Okay, well, it's, you know.
You know, you
Yeah.
know.
How's it going? Hi, Dr. Paul. We were just
It's
watching you.
good.
I know, I have to
Oh, I
adjust
bet you were.
We were. Oh, look, there you are.
How was I?
You were on the How the Universe Works show. I didn't know you were on the How the Universe Works, Dr. Paul.
Oh, that show is hilarious.
Is it?
We have the best of times.
Look at all those telescopes. Are those boxes still the telescopes?
You know what? I have no clue what to do with it. I've got a lot of them. We can do another giveaway today if you want.
If you want to, I know Dodgy got his, but he's in the UK, so that sucks.
That was $35.
Yeah, but that it works still. I'm just trying to adjust all this. And people on the YouTube are probably like, well, she cuts out so much, but it's okay. I think we look about equal.
Out.
I know. So how have you been? How's things?
I've been fantastic. Ohio State is freezing cold and miserable, but I've been traveling a lot because my book's coming out in 1 week.
November 20th, right?
Look, now I have the hardcovers. Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
Look at that shine. And look who's at the top. Not you.
Your bald head. Fraser.
My bald head.
Another bald guy. I wasn't wrong.
You were not wrong. No, it's like a bald guy conspiracy. Yeah, this is great.
November 20th, right?
November 20th, 1 week from today is out. You can pre-order right now on Amazon.
Book. I'm going to spam the pre-order link. Guys, it's around Christmas. Give people astronomy. I feel like it could help a lot.
Look at that.
That's amazing.
Look at that. That is the insert color images.
Do I get a signed copy, though? Do I get a signed copy?
Yes, sure. Send me your address. I'll send you one.
Okay. Because
a review copy.
Yeah, because I read it. So I got this from Fraser. The book.
Oh, Fraser sent you a book.
He did.
But Paul didn't. Oh, well, Fraser's like swimming in cash.
So
he can do that.
That's what I'm saying. So
actually, what I've been telling people is look at the covers. Can you hold up Fraser's cover? Yeah. And I'll hold up mine.
You have to go a little bit more in the middle. Cover your face up.
Hey, oh wow, I get that.
Wait, I'll do it too, though.
I get that a lot. That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, so what about?
So look how well matched these covers are.
They're very well matched.
They look great together. So I've been telling people to buy both books for the holidays for a friend, a loved one, a coworker, a neighbor, and buy both because Fraser's book is amazing for the coffee table. That's the one you show your friends to show that you're interested. And this is the one you keep on the nightstand. This is the one you keep to yourself.
Close.
You read at midnight.
Yeah.
In the dark.
Right.
Yeah, this is the one.
No, I did that last night.
Nightstand.
I did. No, I did. So, well, with his, but I'm just waiting for yours to come out. So I'm just waiting. Okay. I'm just waiting. But
just waiting.
I'm just waiting. November 20th, guys. And
November 20th.
I'm going to be pre-ordering some too.
On Discord or email or whatever. I'll send you a free copy.
Awesome. Which one has more mass? Someone asks which book has more mass.
Oh, definitely Fraser's is thicker and heavier and girthier. But mine gets you in a different way. Mm-hmm. Mine gets you in a different way. Mine's more cerebral.
Mm-hmm.
It's more intimate.
Uh-huh.
It's more attentive to your needs.
Can I get a free copy? Maybe we can do one book giveaway, but I might purchase it because
I'm running out of freebies.
Right. Well, I mean, you are doing the telescope stuff, and that's amazing. But like these books, like he deserves. Writing books is not easy, guys. Writing books is not easy.
I mean, it took a couple days.
It took just a few. Well, I was telling people already what the original title was going to be. Go ahead.
You're not special.
Yep.
Our universe and your place in it.
There you go. You're not special.
Barnes & Noble shot that down.
They were like, nope. Get out of here with that honesty. We don't want it. Not on our racks.
It is actually. So last week I was in LA for a retreat for my literary agency. So I'm represented by Lane Haymont of the Tobias Agency, and they held a workshop in LA last week. And he brought in a bunch of editors and producers and distributors, like people in the publishing and media world. And it was actually one of the editors used my book as a case study of, I had a vision for my book, but my goal as an author wasn't to sell the book to the public. It was to sell it to an agent, to get an agent to get excited about it and pick it up. And so I put my vision on paper, jokey title and everything, and found an agent. Agent loved it, Lane Haymont. Then his job wasn't to sell it to the public. His job was to sell it to a publisher. So he tweaked the title, he tweaked the pitch and the description and all that to make as best a case as possible, get a publisher and an editor to sign up. And we did. We got Prometheus Books, bought the book. Now it's their job to sell to the public. And so they tweak the title, they tweak the description because they're trying to sell as many books as possible.
Right.
So I had to sell it once. And so I had to optimize like my thinking to sell it once. And then my agent had to sell it a few times, like pitch it to a bunch of different editors. And then those editors and publishers have to sell it to as many thousands of people. And so those needs are going to dictate different titles, descriptions, cover images, the whole deal.
Yeah.
It was very interesting.
Yeah, no, the whole thing. So I've heard, I don't think there's one person that's actually like submitted a title the first time and it's gone through.
I don't think so, because they're trying to sell a bunch of books. So what the reason they argued, one was just this year, a self-help book came out with this title, You Are Not Special. And so they're like, we can't have these two books back to back. And the argument was like, okay, yes, your fans get your humor. They know what you're going after. They will buy the book, but they'll buy the book regardless.
Right.
They'll put
my chat would be all over the fact that it's called...
old garbage that I shovel out. My audience, your audience will eat it.
Oh yeah.
But there's a bunch of people who don't follow me. I know.
That's crazy.
Right? And so we want to draw them in to the world. And so this is an appealing mass market general audience title. They're like, oh, universe, spacey pictures. Okay, I'm down for it. And then you read it and you're like, wow, I did not sign up for this. There's bad jokes. There's sarcasm.
No, we have to. So someone just said I need an audiobook. Will this be available in audio?
I wish. So it's up to my publisher. That if Prometheus Books decides that the investment into an audiobook, because it costs quite a bit of money to create an audiobook, will get a return, they'll call for it. Some publishers do it as a matter of course, that every single book always gets an audiobook. Mm-hmm. Prometheus is not that way. I've told my agent is on alert that he's pushing for an audiobook. I actually, whether I had permission to or not, I read an entire chapter in my podcast.
And that's what I was going to say. I know you did that in your podcast because I actually follow Dr. Paul.
And you'll eat any old garbage that I shovel out.
Exactly, because, similar minds. But, so I know that you did that here, and I was thinking, like, maybe we should do that for, some other time if you have, like, I
can do a book reading.
Yeah, like just a chapter.
You want to do an evening book reading? I'm totally down for that.
Well, I know that you proposed that before, and, we could
definitely been my idea.
It might have actually been your idea. That might have been Dr. Paul's idea. I'm not going to take credit for it.
I can sit in front of a fire.
Yeah.
And I can tell you about the death of our universe.
Can you wear an ugly Christmas sweater?
No, but I will have a pipe.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll have an ugly Christmas pipe.
Okay.
With tinsel.
Why no ugly sweater though? What if I wore an ugly Christmas sweater?
Because it's itchy. You can wear whatever you want.
Okay,
whatever
I'll wear an ugly Christmas sweater. This is what we'll do. You'll have the pipe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll have the ugly Christmas pipe. Do we do a back and forth reading? Like how would it work? Let's figure this out right now, in front of.
I could do the animated faces. The oh wow.
You could do you could do the reaction. You can be the audience stand-in.
Mind blown.
You could do You could do the sign language interpretation.
That'd be really difficult because I only know how to do certain words and I know the whole alphabet, but it'd be very slow.
Well, it worked for that guy at Nelson Mandela's funeral. And look at him now. Look, I mean, he is going places.
True. Oh, man, that would take some studying. Spell it out. I know I'd have to spell things out. I'd be like, okay.
Every
A,
single letter.
B, C. I mean, we can.
I'll just have to talk.
But no, but that would be amazing because I know some people would really like that. And, you know, if the publishers want to tune in, I'm sure we could get a good group of people here that would be. I mean, my community is amazing. It's grown a lot. And they're definitely, you know, all about it.
Yeah, you're gigantic.
I'm so big. I'm so popular.
You're obese in popularity.
I know. Well, you know, I feel like that term, we might want to throw that one out. But, you know.
Oh, okay.
Just say thick.
You're thick. You are thick in popularity.
Right. No, I mean, it's definitely
You are rotund.
You are rotund.
You are
I like that one.
Rubenesque in popularity.
I like it. Obese
You have
and
popularity in all the right places.
Right. And so that would be, we should coordinate that because I don't have too chaotic of a schedule actually up until Christmas.
That'd be so much fun.
It would be.
Let's figure out it. Yeah, send me an email.
Okay.
The same one with your address, so I send you a free copy.
Yeah.
And then shoot me some dates and we'll make it happen.
Absolutely.
So science.
Well, there is a few things, and I'm just going to say it. And you guys and everybody in here that hasn't seen Dr. Paul before, again, if you type in Dr. Paul, there's so many things you can follow him on the YouTubes. He's got the Ask a Spaceman. On the TVs.
How the universe works is hilarious because what they do is it's a 3-day science torture session. Where they sit you in a chair and they ask you a million questions.
Right, and you're supposed to give more energy.
And it's always like, can you try that again, Paul, with a little bit more energy?
Just boost it. Just boost it.
We
just need
collapsing. It's like, oh, that's wonderful, but you accidentally glanced at the camera. They're British production companies. So
right. No, I know. I picked up on what you're dropping, so I just went with it. More hand gestures.
And they're like, you accidentally clipped, you looked the camera in the eye. Could you make sure not to do that? I'm like, well, I'm trying to be energetic. And, oh, you stumbled a little bit there, Paul. Could you try that again? So it's seriously, in 3 days, I answer something like 800 questions. And then
that's more intense than me.
Yeah, for sure.
That's way more intense.
And then they do that with a dozen other people. And they'll do a bunch of overlaps. So the same question will go to like 3 or 4 scientists. And then they just edit, cut. And then have Mike Rowe do a little narration and call it a show.
Yeah.
I suppose it's a little bit more involved than that.
No. That sounds about right. As a British person, I feel offended. No one's.
You should be. You should be.
We need Dr. Paul. You're at a 5. We need you at a 10. Do you mind?
10, please. But the most intense are when we do on location.
Oh.
There's some bits where they want like some big complicated metaphor. So preview for the next season, if it makes it through, there's this big, really involved baseball metaphor. And so they had me out in a baseball field with baseball players doing things. And that involves like 3 sentences. Okay. Take 3 sentences, do another take, 3 sentences, do another take. Okay, move on. Different camera angle, 3 set, like the full.
Bring this man some cheese.
TV.
Bring this man some cheese. Okay, we need more enthusiasm. Have they not? Have they not discovered that is a thing with you?
What cheese?
More cheese, more enthusiasm.
Ate a lot of cheese around them.
Okay,
and they may have just thought it was some American quirk or something. They probably didn't. I didn't expressly. I wasn't out with my cheese enthusiasm.
Wow.
But I wasn't hidden about it.
You know that's like built into your command here. After astrophysicist, writer, producer, it's cheese connoisseur.
Cheese connoisseur. Amateur cheese enthusiast.
I mean,
because I'm not a professional. I don't get paid for this. I just eat it.
Fromage boy. In cheesyasm.
Fromage boy.
Right.
And cheese enthusiasm.
And I did see someone earlier, Ashton Fang said something really, really funny for the title of your book. You're a prick. Your place in the universe.
Wow. That is just bam.
That would be too,
e-book. A little bit on the nose.
A little bit. Yeah, but that made me laugh inside my head. I saw that and I was like, that's amazing.
That is amazing.
So, guys, we will be. I have a few questions for him because I haven't talked to Dr. Paul, and I miss Dr. Paul.
It's been ages.
So I have a few questions of some things that have happened, but probably ones that you guys have too. You guys have seen me retweet some of his tweets because his tweets are great. If you're not following him on Twitter,
I ranted last week.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, Ben.
I was on a tear.
Yeah. So let's start with that. Oumuamua.
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 First off, hat tip to the folks a year ago who named it.
Mm-hmm.
Love the name.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's Hawaiian.
Oumuamua.
Mm-hmm.
I love because there's so many researchers and astronomers based in Hawaii and using the Hawaiian telescopes. Over the past few years, we've had a bunch of Hawaiian names enter like scientific jargon, and I love it. Like Make,
Haumea,
Oumuamua, Laniakea, the structure, the name we give to the supercluster that we're in, which means bountiful heaven. I mean, it's just, I love these names.
Yeah. So,
but then.
So let's give some background. Does everybody in here know anything about Oumuamua? Remember, we talked about it for like a small second because I wanted to refer you guys to the experts because it was that annoying. No.
Okay. So Oumuamua is a rock that a year ago visited our solar system. It is the first confirmed interstellar object to pass through the solar system. We saw it accidentally. We weren't even looking for it. And it just happened to show up and they're like, oh, look, an asteroid. And then we should look at that asteroid. It's behaving a little bit weird. We studied it a little bit more, reconstructed its orbit, realized that it's coming from outside the solar system. By the time we had figured this all out, it had already passed by the sun and it was on its way out in the solar system. It's already like past the orbit of Jupiter, or at least Jupiter. I think it's past Saturn now. It's already on its way out. So one and done. That's all we get of Oumuamua. It's a very strange object. It's about the length of a football field, which for people who aren't in America, I will not translate the units for you. It's about, as far as we can tell, we don't have pictures of it. There's a bunch of pictures floating around. Those are all artist conceptions. We don't have an image of it. What we think, it's 10 times longer than it is wide. So it's like cigar shaped or any shape of anything that's longer than it is wide.
Right.
And it's tumbling like this, which is very weird. Has a reddish color, which is pretty weird. Came from outside the solar system, which is pretty weird. It's just a weird rock. Pretty cool. Great scientific mystery. We don't know how rare or common these things are because we've never really looked for them before. We just caught this one by accident. And there were lots of studies on it, the limited data that we have. It started doing something a little funny as far as we can tell, because the observations here are very, very messy. There's a lot of uncertainty. It looked like after it passed by the sun, it sped up a little. So it was coming in, and usually after you pass by the sun, you start to slow down as you get further and further away. But there's a little kick to it.
Oh, even after? Okay. Yeah.
After perihelion, after it swung by the sun, on its way out, it seemed to have sped up a little.
Gotcha.
And a very, very tiny amount. Like, it's not much. And we're not sure it actually did it because the observations are so messy here. And again, we saw this thing after it was already too late. So, it's not high quality observations, but we think it sped up a little. That's not crazy because comets or rocks can fart every once in a while, especially when they get heated up, and they'll squirt out a little bit of gas and that'll boost them a little.
Okay.
So it's not totally crazy, except we didn't see any sign of comet gas. Okay, so a little bit of a mystery, right?
Right.
It sped up a little, which isn't totally ridiculous, but we didn't see any signs of the usual speeding up process that we see in comets. But, we have really bad observations. They're really poor. So maybe it was there. We just couldn't detect it. Blah, 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 blah. Big mystery. And that's it. Like, that's all the information we have about Oumuamua. And everyone was fine with this.
Right.
Like, okay, add it to the list of astronomy mysteries in our universe.
Yeah. Which there are like two,
of which there are like 30,000. It's what keeps us employed. If we had all the answers, we'd be done, and I have no transferable skills, so I would be out of luck. I'd be flipping burgers. No disrespect to burger flippers of the world, by the way, but it's just not something I'd be very good at. So, up until a couple weeks ago. So a couple weeks ago, a couple Harvard researchers, Avi Loeb, Abraham Loeb, his familiar name is Avi. He's the chair of the Harvard Astronomy Department, erstwhile collaborator of mine. So we've been on a couple projects together. I know him really well. And one of his students, who no one remembers the student's name because students aren't important, they wrote a paper. And they wrote a paper saying, okay, Oumuamua is a mystery, ain't it? And here are the list of things that could possibly explain the data and some of the weaknesses. Like, oh, it could be, it could be this. It could be tumbling weird. It could be outcast, list, whatever. And then the last item in their list in their paper is like, oh, maybe it's aliens built a solar sail spacecraft.
And that had no pickup at all. People were like, whatever, we know better.
Yeah, it slipped under the radar. It actually did for about a week.
I know.
So Fraser Cain wrote about it, and someone else wrote about it. And then someone caught it, and it caught fire. Journalists everywhere, Harvard astrophysicists say Oumuamua might be alien spacecraft. And every single time, the reporter would call up Avi Loeb and said, hey, can we get a quote about this paper? And he'd be like, well, it's probably not aliens, but you can't exclude the possibility. And, it does explain the data, just kind of hedging his words a little in these quotes, at least the quotes they pulled. Who knows what he said in the actual interview.
Right.
And then it got to my attention and I went nuts.
Yeah. Rightfully so.
I lost it.
Yeah. No, I'm glad. In fact, I forget where I heard it. It wasn't that I went through my Twitter feed and saw it. I think somebody commented in my chat. Somebody else follows you, Dr. Paul. Believe it or not.
So, yeah, I mean, I've seen those pre-order sales climb into the 10s.
Right. At least. Maybe 20s. But, maybe like 20. It's one of those things where, like someone actually directed, and I don't think it was Fraser, because I haven't talked with Fraser recently, too, because of just conflicting schedules. But
because you talk with Fraser all the time. You've established that you and Fraser are like this.
He's at a con this week, but like but this is. I remember somebody commented on. Did I see what you said? And that's when I went back and I checked, and I was like, I got to retweet this so that everybody knows. This is something, and Harvard has done something like this before.
So Avi is very, very good at this. So he writes a bajillion papers. He's just one of these kinds of theorists that if he has a random idea, he tells the grad student his idea, the grad student does the math, and they write a 4-page paper, and boom. And he seriously writes like a paper a month.
Yeah. And
which is incredibly high throughput. And some of his papers, I mean, they're just like ideas. And there's nothing, I have nothing against ideas in science. But the reason, and so every few months, Avi will get his name in the news because one of his ideas is ridiculous and crazy sounding. But he has math to back it up, and he has a published paper. And so journalist Fraser said he loves Avi's work because it's amazing sound bites, like every time he writes a paper.
Yeah.
And so last week, besides being in LA for the agency retreat, I was in a rage-induced fugue. And the upset and the anger was aimed at the Harvard researchers. I was not upset with the journalists because the journalists are doing their job. Their job is to get people to read their articles.
Right.
So, of course, they're going to put sensationalistic headlines. Of course, they're going to twist. Of course, they're going to gin up controversy. Of course, they're going to tease things because they want people to read. But they always need a source. They can't make up things on their own. They have to quote someone. They have to pull from someone's paper. And in this case, they pulled from the Harvard paper. They pulled quotes from the Harvard researchers that gave them everything they wanted to write ridiculous papers and articles. And I think the first mistake that the Harvard researchers made was including the aliens as a legitimate hypothesis in their paper. And this is a big issue for me because science is all about ideas, and crazy off the wall ideas are more than welcome, but they must be testable. There's a difference between an idea and a hypothesis.
Right.
And the Harvard researchers advanced an idea. They did not advance a hypothesis. And that doesn't belong in a journal article. That doesn't belong in a paper.
Right. Yeah.
And by putting it in there, they tried to elevate it to the level of a hypothesis, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
And then they doubled down on it because as it caught fire, as the journalists were searching for quotes, they could have not picked up the phone. They could have not responded to the emails. They could have pulled their paper off the archive, waited for it to be gone through editing and approval and peer review and all that.
Yeah.
But no, they gave the journalists the exact quotes that they wanted. They played it up.
Right.
And say, we're not saying it's aliens, but, it is a hypothesis. It is a possibility, which is exactly what the journalists need to go nuts.
Right.
And now there's like 1 million YouTube videos, each with 1 million views, saying Harvard scientists,
right,
Harvard astronomers, stamp of approval, think that their alien spacecraft visited our solar system.
Right. Yeah.
And they can go to the articles, they can go to the journal paper, like they have every source they need to distort that, to tell that narrative.
Right.
And the Harvard scientists played into it 100%.
Yeah. And we get more fake news.
And the fake news came from the scientists.
Right.
Well-meaning, well-respected, top of their field, top class, no disrespect at all. But I think this paper was a mistake.
Yeah, because what it does to the other scientists in the industry in this field. Yeah. And how much work you guys put into this. Right.
And this is exactly what happened with the alien megastructure paper.
Mm-hmm.
With that whole thing.
Yep.
Most astronomers in the world took one look at that paper and their results said, yeah, it's dust.
Right.
But
are we talking about Tabby Star?
Tabby Star. I'm talking about Tabby Star, Boyajian Star.
Yeah.
Every astronomer in the world is like, yeah, it's dust.
Right.
Why are you making a fuss about this? Like, you don't understand your data. Congratulations.
Right.
Welcome to astronomy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's probably dust because dust answers like all the questions.
Right.
But they ginned it up. They teased it. They gave media all the juicy quotes they needed. They put the veneer of science on it. And still, 2.5 years later, people still come, hey, what about that alien star, huh? So you really think aliens are out there? Scientists said there are aliens out there. I'm like, oh, no, it's dust. And, well, it could be aliens.
And people have a hard time letting go of that. I mean, I've had Dr. Tabitha Boyajian on here. And I mean, her Reddit was insane. The people that were on there and the fact that I was like, it's likely dust, and they did not like that. They did not like that. I was not popular.
Yeah. And she wasn't popular, but now she's having to fight it. Like, you open that Pandora's box.
Right.
Every single interview you gave, I'm saying you, not you, but you, any scientist.
Right.
Like this is the responsibility of scientists. Like, it's on us because we're the ones writing the articles, the journal articles.
Right.
We're the ones picking up the phones. We're the ones responding to emails. We know it's not a surprise that journalists are going to twist our words to sell a narrative.
Yeah.
They're doing their job. They're trying to make sensational. They're trying to get eyeballs. They're trying to get ad revenue. That's their job. And we can't just say, oh, I didn't know it would blow up like that. That's crazy. Oh my gosh, you put aliens in your paper.
Right.
Of course it's going to blow up.
Easy.
That's easy. Whoosh.
Done.
And you can just say, no, I'm sorry, I'm not taking interview requests. Have a nice day. Click. Mm-hmm. No, I'm sorry, I'm not going to comment on that paper. Click. But no, you gave the quotes, you did the interviews, you did the TED Talks, you went on YouTube and you tried to walk this line of, oh, as serious scientists, we have to consider every possibilities, and we did the math, and if it's the observations, but we can't know for sure. That's never going to work.
Yeah.
That's never going to work.
Yeah.
And as a scientist, because sorry, I'm right here. I go again. Thanks for getting me going. Just there's a wind up thing on my back, like an old school toy.
Yeah.
And it says talk about aliens and science, and it starts going.
Well, it's interesting. Someone actually just brought up like a Nietzsche quote, but sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed, which someone actually summarized that, the sunk cost fallacy. So you put so much into something that you're just holding on to it because you can't let it go because of how much time and effort you've actually put into that. And that's a huge fallacy.
Absolutely. And you know what? It would be awesome if we had evidence that aliens were out there.
I know, and right now I'm hearing people.
I would love it.
I know. So like, I have someone in here that's like, well, aliens. Everybody's scared of aliens. No, I would absolutely like. And some people are asking about wormholes and stuff like that earlier today. It'd be amazing if we had, or someone said simulated, that we live in a simulation. If we had a way of testing these things, and we had a way of knowing. Like, the simulation would be cool. I'm all about, and like you said, all about ideas. Like, ideas are great. We need ideas. We don't get places without ideas. But we need to be able to test those ideas and, not just one time, but 2 times reproduce those results and say, this looks good.
Exactly. And to play the game of science, you can't just have any random ideas. That's not good enough in science. For science, your idea must be testable. And if you jump to the alien hypothesis, if you look at an observation, if you have data that you can't understand, as soon as you invoke, you can say, okay, intelligent creatures did this, manipulated their environment. They built a solar sail or a megastructure or whatever.
Right.
As soon as you allow for intelligent actors that can manipulate their environment, you can explain any observation whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the data come back to, whatever it is, whatever the telescope returns, you can explain that data because you have intelligent actors that can manipulate their environments to their heart's content.
Right.
And because aliens are capable of producing any observation you want, there is no observation that can rule them out.
Right. Anything that you can't explain. Boom. Aliens. Got it.
It's aliens, but that's not a hypothesis. That's not a hypothesis.
That's not how that works at all.
So if I were the referee, so Avi said that his paper did go through peer review and has recently been accepted. If I were the referee, I would say cut that out. That last bit, that is not yes, it can explain the data, but it's not a scientific hypothesis. It is not. It doesn't belong.
Right.
You can email it if you want. You can put it on the whiteboard if you want. You can talk about it at a conference if you want, but it doesn't belong in a science journal.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And again, like, I appreciate your posts on it. If you guys haven't checked out Dr. Paul on Twitter, it's in the Paul command. Follow every link that's in there. It's all really, really good. Like, he's
right next to the cheese.
It's right next to the cheese. And I know it sounds, everybody's like, well, I'm going to promote the people that are on here that are amazing. And he does have a lot of insight on these kind of things, and seeing him stand up like that, because I didn't even want to address it in my stream. It was one of those things that I just didn't even want to be a place where we could even
jump into.
Right. And I wanted to actually wait until you were on here because Dr. Paul is an astrophysicist, guys. And he puts in his time. I'm just a science communicator, but right now he's actually in his office. And so
which looks suspiciously like
a storage closet.
But I swear it's
kind of a storage closet. Okay. But
also an office.
But
this is exactly, I want to say you are not just a science communicator.
Sort of, kind of.
No. You are a representative for science.
On Twitch.
So you're not on Twitch. Doesn't matter. You are a representative of science. And what I try to do when I speak up about issues like this, when I share how we know things, it's a running theme in my book is how we know about the universe. I'm trying to equip audiences.
Right.
I'm trying to equip non-scientists so that they can see a headline like this and they can see the quotes in the article and where it's going. And they can say, that's BS.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to the point, and I know I'll never get to this point where it's not just me having to say it, where you feel comfortable and you feel empowered, if you will, that you could tweet to Avi Loeb and say, hey, pretty sure this is BS. Why are you even bringing aliens into the discussion?
Well, I was already comfortable with that. However, he's gonna be like, who's this?
But what if he heard it from 1,000 people?
Right. No,
what if 1,000 people gave honest, serious, legitimate philosophy of science arguments?
And I know a lot of people in here
why that was a bad idea.
Right.
Why that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Maybe because I can't change Avi's mind. I've tried.
Yeah, no,
but maybe 1,000. But maybe he could see the damage.
It causes such damage, and that becomes a part of what I do here is mitigating that.
Yeah, So all last week I did a bunch of interviews. I was quoted in a few articles. I was happy to jump on the phone, and my main thing was one, this was not science, and two, now there's a lot of stuff that I have to go clean up. And I guarantee in 2 years, 3 years from now, I'll meet someone at an event or I'll get an email like, hey, wasn't Oumuamua an alien spacecraft? Didn't some scientists show that?
Right.
I guarantee it.
There's no escaping
it. Avi's not going to have to face that.
No. And that's the biggest thing is that gets thrown out there. And like you said, these go on YouTube videos with millions of views. And we're sitting here just stuck answering these questions saying that this is nothing. This is literally nothing. And let's get on to the bigger cool finds. Let's talk about Gaia. Let's talk about, Tess.
Awesome, cool stuff.
Right. Let's actually go to the stuff that matters rather than just some, completely, I want them to answer too, though. And no, but these are the things that, I would advocate is, I know a lot of people in here are just as frustrated, especially in my community, with bad science because we deal with it a lot. We'll see people come in and be like, yeah, so, what about that megastructure, for instance? Or, and it takes away from getting to the things that people can actually benefit and understand more due to the hype behind the fake news. But speaking of which, there are a few questions I have for you because I'm talking about galaxies
Let's go for
today.
it. Let's do it.
And
galaxies are fun.
Galaxies are super fun. I learned, everything's changing with them too all the time. And I like it. Do you have a chapter on galaxies?
So I have a chapter of Edwin Hubble. Mm-hmm. It's a part of a chapter discovering that the Andromeda Nebula is actually the Andromeda Galaxy.
Oh.
Which everyone thought, there were debates. Like, hey, look at that fuzzy little cloud in the sky with stars inside of it. That's cute. I wonder how far away it is. Took forever for us to figure out how far away it is. And once we did, using a technique pioneered by Henrietta Swan Leavitt, I challenge you to find anyone else with the middle name of Swan. And she developed the technique, and then Hubble applied the technique to the Andromeda Nebula, and it was 2.5 million light years away.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I don't think it's a nebula anymore, guys.
Guess
I
I
think it's
was
a galaxy.
wrong.
I think it's its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like, wow,
Wow.
wow, wow. And
Yeah.
then 2 years later, Hubble figured out the expansion of the universe, and everyone's like, wow
Wow.
again.
Right.
Double wows. Double wows. So yeah, it's a chapter in here talking about that.
Yeah, because galaxies are one of those things that are always changing. Someone asked real quick, how many galaxies have we discovered?
We've only mapped 200 million galaxies.
Right.
With like location. We've only tagged 200 million galaxies or so. We suspect in the observable universe there are somewhere around 2 trillion galaxies.
2 trillion.
It depends on your definition of galaxy, of how big you need to be before you're a galaxy, but somewhere around 2 trillion in the observable universe.
Yeah, even just using Hubble Space Telescope, that alone said 100 billion. And then more recently, people are like, okay, well, actually, if we want to take those numbers and start, adding these things up, you get that 2 trillion number. My brain can't comprehend. So, I know.
It's a big number. So it's like we have surveys like the Sloan Digital Sky Survey, the Dark Energy Survey. There are surveys designed not to look for stars, not to look for nebulae, just to look for galaxies and count them and figure out where they are.
Right. Right. And so some of the things that have been really perplexing and I wanted to talk to you about, because I'm not going to go, I told people already, this is not going to be a dark matter stream, but you can't ignore dark matter.
There is the dark matter stream.
Yeah.
Stream.
That will be
dark matter stream.
Right. That will be later. And with the assistance of Dr. Paul's videos.
Dark Matter Live.
Right. But like there's, like us finding these galaxies that have, 99% dark matter. And then finding a galaxy recently this year, I believe it was towards the beginning of this year, we found one that had little to none.
Yep.
And we were like, wait, what?
Wait, what? Well, the relationship that we understand between galaxies and dark matter it's a statistical one.
Mm-hmm.
And like any statistic, there's going to be some outliers. So on average, there will be a very solid relationship between the amount of stuff we can see and the amount of stuff we can't.
Right.
But of course, like any statistic, there will be some freak accidents. There'll be some weirdos. There'll be some outcasts, ones with a little bit more visible matter than average, a little bit less visible matter than average, a lot more visible matter than average, a lot less than average, extreme examples. And by studying that whole population, by looking at all the statistics, we can better understand the link between dark matter and regular matter.
Mm-hmm.
So like don't be surprised. Don't be surprised by the outliers.
Well, someone said like a bell curve?
It may not be a bell curve, but sure, like a bell curve. It's some statistical distribution we don't understand. We don't know what that distribution is. It might be a normal distribution, a Gaussian distribution, if you will, or a bell curve. Like the one that looks like a bell.
The one that looks like a bell. Musical Tanks is dying, just laughing. But so someone said, simplest way to explain dark matter. Can I go and then you go?
You go. Go.
So something that is made up of something that interacts gravitationally, but we just can't see it.
Time's up. Say it faster.
Something that interacts gravitationally, cannot see. That's it.
There it is.
So is that what you would say?
Yeah, that was great. No, it was great. I was going to say not everything in the universe is all hot and glowy.
Right. Yeah. We can't see it.
And who said it would be? Who said it would be?
I mean, we would like to see everything.
Exists. Why should, whenever someone says, why does X exist? Or why is X the way it is?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why does dark matter exist? My immediate non-sarcastic response, believe it or not, is why should dark matter not exist? Why should there be things Why should there not be things that don't interact with light?
Yeah. Someone said, why is Dr. Paul the way he is?
Why should I not be the way I am?
There you go.
Is my response.
Full circle.
Why should I not? Is there anything that forbids me from being the way I am? Yes, many laws in several countries. Thankfully, I don't live in those countries, and I can be here in my supply closet.
Outplayed. And yeah, so I mean, but we were able to basically detect that there was very little dark matter, and it's because of the rotation, the speed of these stars moving around the galaxy, right? They were slower in this low mass to no mass dark matter. Sorry, dark matter. Wow, hi, dark matter. Guys, I'm not saying this galaxy doesn't have mass. It certainly does. But the dark matter, so the lack thereof, slow rotation of stars moving around it, correct?
That is correct. So that is how we discovered, or really cemented our discovery of dark matter. Also featured in the chapter entitled "Of Matters Dark and Cold," my book. Very, very clever play on words for that chapter title. They let me keep that one because it was lame. So we can't see dark matter. So there's stuff inside of galaxies that doesn't interact with light, so we can't see it. It won't glow. We can't see it with a telescope. But its presence can be felt through gravity. Because gravity sees and interacts with all things. So we can look at the motions of orbits of stars in their galaxy. We can look at how fast they're going. And we can deduce using gravity, using our knowledge of gravity, that there is stuff that we can't see. And if we look at a galaxy and the stars are orbiting really, 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 really fast, then there must be more stuff in that galaxy that we can't see that keeps everything from, blowing itself apart.
Right.
But if the stars are moving pretty sedately, pretty calmly, then we know in that particular galaxy there isn't a lot of extra stuff.
Right. So when we try to, let's say, weigh our galaxy, right? We try to get its mass, which is different than weight, guys. Sorry, excuse me for saying that. Like, don't treat me as I would normally not say something like that.
You know what? I give you a papal blessing.
Thank you. Because weight is different than mass.
I say weight or mass interchangeably all the time because they are just different by a constant.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just a unit conversion.
It is. And so in this case with our Milky Way, I mean, we look at all the stuff that's in it, all of the matter that we can see, and we extrapolate how much mass is there. But when we look at the rotation of stars, was there a hole missing there? Or were we like, well, these stars are moving much faster given what we can visibly see?
Right, exactly. So if you look at a galaxy, if you pull up a galaxy and you look at it, there's a big ball in the middle, a core, and then it's kind of thinner on the outskirts. There's less stuff. So most of the mass of a galaxy is concentrated in its core.
Right.
So what you expect, if you look at any random star, the stars in the core should be whipping around really fast because there's a lot of stuff right there.
Right.
And then as you get further out, they should get slower and slower and slower because there's less and less stuff, and you're getting further and further away from that really dense core. So you should see the speed of stars drop and drop and drop and drop as you get to the edges. But instead, what we observe is that stars near the core are going really fast. And instead of dropping, the speed stays almost perfectly constant.
Yeah, more or less the same, right?
Yeah, exactly. So stars at the very edge are whipping around just as fast as stars near the core.
Right.
What a mystery.
So weird. So weird. And then when we see this other one that has very little, and I know that there was a galaxy, I forget the name of it, that was like 99% dark matter. What was that one? Was it Swan something?
I'm sure it has some stupid name.
Yeah, so we go from these polar opposites. And again, guys, this is even more proof. Like, even though we think that we have it down, we're like, okay, so most of these, like the Milky Way, they say is like 90% dark matter.
So yeah, it's like, remember we're sampling millions of galaxies by now.
Yeah.
This is the astronomy industrial complex.
Mm-hmm.
And with millions of galaxies, you're going to find the weirdos. You know, if you sample enough people, maybe sample wasn't the right choice of words here. If you observe enough people, eventually you'll find someone, 7.5 feet tall.
Right.
Just an outlier in the distribution.
Well, what a crazy outlier. That was super cool, though. I mean, again, this is great for scientists. As much
this is awesome. This is awesome because we don't understand dark matter.
Right.
And so the weirdos help.
Yeah. And they help us refine everything that we know about it and what we can do with the information gained from something like that.
There's your Saturday morning inspirational message for the kids.
I know.
Don't be afraid to be a weirdo because the weirdos are the most useful for science.
Wow. That is a long quote, though. I would put that as your quote.
You want to sharpen that up?
Yeah, let's sharpen that one up a little bit, just a little. Can we make it 2 sentences?
Let's see.
Being a weirdo matters a lot.
Weirdos are important. Be a weirdo.
That's a bumper sticker. That's great.
That's a total bumper sticker.
Someone actually has a question. Oh, my tweet. Does negative gravity exist?
Anti-gravity. Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Go on.
Have you heard about the expansion of the universe?
A little.
A little. Have you heard about the accelerated expansion of the universe?
Just a bit. We were talking about that a little.
Just a bit.
Mm-hmm.
This is something we call dark energy.
Oh.
Different than dark matter.
Mm-hmm.
Way more mysterious.
And much more of our universe, right?
It is the 3/4 of our universe, 70%, 74%. I forget what the latest numbers are, the latest estimates. It's up there.
Yeah.
And our universe's expansion is accelerating. It's getting bigger and bigger every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting bigger and bigger, faster and faster every day. That is anti-gravity. That is accelerated expansion. It is not only resisting the gravitational pull of all the stuff in the universe that would prefer to slow it down, it's flipping it on its head and it's making that expansion accelerate. It's pushing.
It's pushing.
It's pushy.
It's not pulling, it's pushy.
Exactly. And if that's not anti-gravity, well, I don't know what is.
Yeah. That sounds like the exact opposite. That pull is that gravity. Push would be
anti-gravity.
Yeah.
General relativity allows gravity to push rather than pull.
Yeah. And then
under very, very special circumstances.
Does that affect relative time in such matter? In such
matters as the relativity of time, it is important to note the distinction between special and general relativity.
Indeed.
I do not know where my accent is going. I'm now vaguely Eastern European, maybe a hint of German.
You've gained like 80 IQ points.
As I traveled the world over the course of 3 sentences.
Einstein's in the house.
Einstein, yes. Einstein. Every once in a while, I say Einstein just to mess with.
I know.
In my favorite, you know Snell's law. This is you put the light, you shine a beam of light in water, and then it bends.
Oh yeah. No, I know.
Okay, it's Snell's law. Snell's law.
I don't think I ever called it that. Maybe that's why I'm not recognizing. Dark energy cars. I like people who talk. Wait, let's see. Refraction. Yeah.
Refraction. Yeah, Snell's law.
Did the dark energy play a role immediately after, or during, or immediately after the Big Bang?
Interesting question. The dark energy. I don't know what I'm doing. The dark energy only kicked on about 5 billion years ago. It was not a player in the early universe because it is so weak. Dark energy is a very, very tiny thing. It's a very subtle thing. It's just a whisper that makes itself known at the very biggest scales. In the early universe a long time ago, our universe was smaller, it was denser, it was hotter, and the matter, the gravity of the matter, of the dark matter, of the normal matter, of the radiation was more important than the effects of dark energy. So it was always there, but in the background. And as our universe expanded, and as the matter in our universe thinned out and diluted, it reached a critical point where dark energy was always there in the background. And now, 5 billion years ago, matter in our universe thinned out so much that dark energy could take over.
Did that satisfy that?
Are you satisfied? Are your needs met?
Red shifts, he says.
Red shift.
And I'll do this one, and then we'll do the giveaway, because I know Dr. Paul has to get back to doing and teaching and being important.
I actually have an interview with Ethan Siegel, Dr. Two Beards himself.
Oh.
We're talking about Oumuamua on his podcast or YouTube. I don't know what, but he's Skype calling me in 2 minutes.
Okay, so we have to we won't be able to get to that question. Let's go ahead and do the giveaway. And it's going to be for subs.
Who cares about knowledge anyway when you can have free stuff?
Telescopes. Dr. Paul will mail you a telescope, and this is not restricted.
I'll mail you this one. This one.
That one. Right there.
That one. And it's not restricted. And even though it costs an arm and a leg,
he has a Patreon,
this
guys.
is my sacrifice.
Go give
this
it to
is
his
why
Patreon.
This is why I am better than Fraser Cain. Because Fraser Cain's not going to mail you telescopes, is he? No.
Mm-mm. No, so go give to his Patreon, guys. Dr. Paul has a Patreon. See that? It's the last link there. He's doing something really nice and not making me pay for this. He's handling it, and it's not just bound to North America, the U.S. This is everywhere that
Worldwide.
You can do that. So, it's a subscriber
except
thing.
the Canary Islands, because I have an issue with you, okay? But other than the Canary Islands, it's all good.
Are you ready, Joe? You good? I'm going to turn it to subscribers.
And everyone, please go to my patreon.com/bmstar, because that is how I pay for all my science communication. I don't get it from I don't do it as my day job. It's my night job.
Yes. So I put it in sub mode only. I'm just waiting for Joe to tell me he's good with that, and we can do a keyword. Just give me the word. What do you want the word to be?
Can I give it? Is it Oumuamua, or is that too much?
Oh man, just do it. Oumuamua.
Oumuamua. Oumuamua.
Oumuamua.
O-U. Technically, it starts with an apostrophe, but we can skip that.
We'll skip the apostrophe.
O-U. And then M-U-A, M-U-A.
That's it right there, guys. Copy and paste away.
Oumuamua. It's
Hell
fun
of a
to say it
giveaway.
in different ways.
Oumuamua.
That's too plain. That was very librarian.
Mm-hmm. Wiggle, you're going to want to take out that apostrophe, honey. Yo, mama.
Your mama mua. Love it. Your mama.
And we'll end it pretty quick here, because I know you have Dr. Siegel calling you any second. So guys, another 5 seconds. And Joe, go ahead and roll in 5 seconds. When you hear me say this, go ahead and roll it, Joe.
I'm excited. I'm so pumped.
I
love
too.
This.
Yeah, and you guys, Dr. Paul's amazing. He's allowing this to happen for my chat. So thank you
for
so
your
much.
Entertainment. Are you not amused?
Jake 27. Jake won. So Jake, send me your information, and I will send that on to Dr. Paul.
And then this will get sent on to you.
Yes.
It's a telescope that you put together. It's really fun.
Yep. So now I'm going to be sending you three things.
It's legit.
Dr. Paul, I'm going to be sending you my address for a
your
book.
Address.
When we can work out
this book.
Right. And then the time that we'll have the Christmas readings.
Yes.
And then also I will send you the Jake.
Boom.
All right. Well, I want you to get to that podcast. And
we'll
if
you
want to drop
the
link in
next
here.
Week? Will I be on next week?
Yeah, I'm here.
On book launch day. That'll be so much fun.
Book launch day. Hype. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, everyone. Tons of great questions. Thanks for getting me all riled up about Oumuamua again.
All right. We'll see you soon.
Take it easy.
All right. Bye.
How do I shut this thing off?
You don't.